Rush Limbaugh made an appearance on what show is that? The Chris Wallace show?
It's Fox News Sunday.
Fox News Sunday. And we don't have a clip of when he first came on, although it was a fairly passive-aggressive, like, oh, yeah, it's my first time back here since 2009. They're a little rancorous over there on the right. But Limbaugh is on, of course, we must mitigate the reality of what it's like to be a black person in today's society, because we can't have any of that self-doubt creep in to white consciousness in this country. And of course, you may also know that the president is black, and he is just giving the country away to the black folk, according to Rush Limbaugh. We got a couple of clips, but this is, and you know, I'm not quite clear on why this was the first time that he had been on Fox News Sunday in 5 or 6 years, I guess. But they really wanted his take on just how ungrateful, really, in many respects, black people are in this country, according to Rush Limbaugh.
I like how they have to break his long, multi-year sabbatical from Fox News for a race relations issue.
Well, of course.
Rush Limbaugh is the real expert on race relations in the United States of America.
Well, I mean, they want to get a rise. They don't want to have to say this. They want, and so why not farm it out to Limbaugh? Because you know the problem here. Now, we have protests that have been going on across the country. Over the weekend, we saw protests in New York, in Chicago, in Boston, in Cleveland, in Pittsburgh, Jefferson City, Missouri. I mean, there have been protests all around the country. In California, out in Berkeley, there's been confrontations with the police. They have shut down highways. In Philadelphia, people staged a die-in. In Chicago, 100 churches organized peaceful rallies throughout the day over the weekend. In Miami, protesters marched onto Interstate I-95, shutting it down in both directions. And so you got protests all across the country. They continue here, obviously, in New York as well. What was it, on Thursday night? They had shut down the bridge, Manhattan Bridge, I think it was, and marched up Atlantic Avenue. There were protests in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Protests all around the country. And if you are a Fox News viewer, you must be told that really this is about a lack of gratitude. This is really, the problem is with those people who are protesting, and they are agitating over nothing. Now, you may have seen the footage of Eric Garner, but that's not relevant. What's relevant is that this is, again, another hustle, according to Rush Limbaugh. So here he is on Fox News Sunday saying this.
And one of the things that critics and some of the demonstrators cite is, for instance, that black drivers who are stopped for a traffic stop are 3 times as likely to be searched as white drivers. So what do you think of them in this perception of unfairness in the criminal justice system?
I don't think that things are rosy and perfect in America, but to say that they're no better, as the mayor of New York said, it's absurd. We've made all kinds of efforts to improve race relations in this country. The 1964 Civil Rights Act, affirmative action, we have bent over backwards. Is it all perfect? No, it's not. But there's no acknowledgement of any of the progress, Chris. If you listen to these people, the president, the mayor of New York, you would think it's 200 years ago. You would think we haven't even started working on these problems, and that's not true.
Chris, you understand who really is oppressed here. It is those of us who have bent over backwards. I mean, to think that people don't appreciate the amount of progress we have made over the past 200 years. We don't get any credit. We who have bent over backwards don't get any credit for the fact that we don't have slaves anymore. We never hear these protesters start before their protests say, well, at least black people aren't slaves anymore, and then go ahead and expect that they're not going to get different treatment from the police. Let me ignore those statistics that you presented, Chris, and just go on to say that really this is about people who are just fundamentally ungrateful for how much we, white people, have bent over backwards for them.
Before we get started with this march here, I'd just like to thank all the white people who enabled us to march today. So thank you. All right, now we can get to the issues at hand.
Exactly. All he's looking for is a little bit of gratitude for everything that Rush Limbaugh and white people have done for race relations in this country. Just stunning. It is the classic attempt to victimize themselves. Of course, this is all about how oppressive this is to white people.